To start season 2, it looks like at least our freshmen coming in are going to be good. They're essentially our best players now, so let's get acquainted with those guys. We'll start with Roderick Garcia, the hometown kid, 6'7" out of Brooklyn. Love the potential on this guy. I think he could really grow into a good player at this level. Ernesto Hendry here looks like an athletic wing who can also play some good perimeter defense for us. Looks like he'll grow into a great player as well. Cleveland doesn't really look like as promising a prospect, but at least based on what he is now, we know he'll be able to fulfill a role at this level. And I'd really say the same thing about this prospect too. It's just he'll be fulfilling a different role. We'll definitely need to get some perimeter scoring around him. And I'd really say the same thing about this prospect as well. So we really got two guys who can be high performers at this level, or at least grow into that, and then three guys who'll be role players. We weren't able to hit on that underrated center, but maybe we'll find him in the next recruiting class. Because of our need for some more scoring on the perimeter, we are going to move our point guard from last year, number 3, to shooting guard, so we will be undersized, but we need the scoring. These are the rotations we're going to go with here. Did up it up to 9 this year just because we're a little bit deeper. And the level of competition we're playing, we can get away with 9 here. So a couple of things here with the coaching profile. One is that we're essentially going to do small ball, so I want to focus on shooting and skill for my recruiting priorities. We also, even though we're still undersized, we're not as undersized, so we don't have to play so much zone, so we're going to play less zone. I particularly like the 1-3-1, so that's the zone we're going to run. And the sliders, we still want to play fast, but maybe put a little bit more of an emphasis on defense. Also, we're going to want to switch the playbook to flex, just because I know in real life the flex playbook, that's kind of when you have two primary ball handlers. It's kind of what Maryland used to run back in the late 90s, early 2000s. That's what I'm thinking of when I think of the flex playbook. So we're going to run that playbook here. Time to do our shot distribution. This guy right here, we don't really want him taking any shots outside of 5 feet from the basket, so that's how we're going to set it up. Number 3 here, he's going to have to be our primary perimeter scorer, so that's how I'm setting it up. Essentially, any threes we get from the starting rotation this year, they're going to have to come from him. Cottrell here doesn't really have the best offensive attributes, so I really want him to be a distributor. His best offensive attributes are handling and passing, so hopefully he can just facilitate the offense, get the ball where it needs to go for everybody else to be successful. This guy right here, same deal, only takes shots about 5 feet around the basket. That's all we need out of him. Other than that, he can focus on other things like rebounding. We really only want Garcia to take shots around the rim as well. The difference being that he's really, really good at it. So we're expecting him to kind of lead us offensively this year. So we're going to crank that really high. Maybe he'll contribute very slightly in scoring from other parts of the court. Ernesto here is going to have to be one of our more active players on offense. Want him to play at the rim and provide just a little bit of scoring on the perimeter by shooting that mid-range J. Before we get into the ABL here, we are a very improved team, so do expect to see progress. As such, I've laid out this year's expectations, improve the overall record, and compete for conference championships. Next up is the ABL. All you really want to do here is take and make sure you're refining your target list. Make sure you're placing the seniors at the top so they're the first to get recruited. Things like that. Making sure you're adding on players you can realistically land and you're removing players that you can't land. Here in this early phase of the game, you're just going to want to really try to recruit those local and municipal type players just because you don't have a lot of points. So that's what we'll be focusing on here. Now it is time to do day zero recruiting. Here we're going to go ahead and prioritize the guys that we want to give scholarships to just because we have a limited amount of points. So we want to go ahead and get a jump start on those guys. Those guys will be the best players who fit the needs we have the most. So we're going to want to get some guard play here. Looks like Tran and Carson are going to be the best players for us. Really impressed by our freshman bigs here, as well as shooting guard number 2. I think they'll contribute a lot this season to our success. Much more impressive outing for Midnight Madness this year compared to last. We can see the level of talent has improved tremendously. Hopefully we'll have a good year this year. It is now time to officially offer scholarships. It looks like Carson and Tran are still going to be our guys. They look like we can land them, and they also fill the needs that we have. You can look and see here with both prospects that I'm in proper standing for both, as well as their priorities match up with what I can offer. I'll also want to make sure that I'm still recruiting other guys as a backup just in case I'm not able to land them. Really impressed with this season opener here. Went on the road with a young team and controlled the game from start to finish. That's pretty impressive. Also, shooting guard number 2 gave us 12 points in 9 minutes. Another big win for St. Francis. We were kind of dueling right there with Navy, but we got on a run and never looked back for the win. Liz's big boost off the bench for us. Even though shooting guard at number 3 came through in a big way with 23 points, that is a tough way to lose to an opponent, especially a rival. We were up by 13 in the first half, ended up losing the game. But when you play small ball, things like this can happen. As you can see, we were kind of out physicaled on the glass, and they shot a lot more free throws than we did, so I think that's why we lost the game. So that was shooting guard number 3's first game back in a while. He'd been hurt. Hopefully he can come back into the rotation and give us a boost. We really want to compete for a conference championship. Right now it looks unlikely as we're sitting at 500. We may need to just settle for making a run in the conference tournament and making it to the NCAA tournament. In fact, we were unable to compete for the conference championship. Pretty disappointing given how talented we are compared to the rest of the league, that we didn't even compete, but we are a young team. Hopefully in that regard next year will be more fruitful, but right now we need to focus on winning the conference tournament. Truly a disappointing way to end the season. Started the game on a 4-0 run, then we just lost control of the game. Never got it back. Not really as good of a season as we hoped for. Kind of were a punching bag, but I tell you what, tell them like Dion told them.
Honestly and candidly, you better get me right now. This is the worst we're gonna be.
But let's close out the season. We've got a couple of guys leaving here, transferring, so that'll open up scholarships. We've got 4 more coaching points, so we want to max out charisma, then work on our teaching. This is our first year being able to accept a new job, and there's no real upward movement here. All of the offers we can get are small conference jobs, so don't want to go from our small school to another small school. Ideally, I'd like to skip the mid-major and go straight to the power conference, just so that I can go ahead and start working on that legacy score. Because we're a better coach, we can get better assistants now. As such, I want to get well-rounded assistants because I'm not that good overall, but I do want them to be more so focused on teaching and charisma. We now have more scholarships open because of players transferring, which is fine because we can really add in better players. Those 3 guys, they weren't going to get any playing time next year anyway. So for them and us, it's really best that they transferred. I will say that it's going to be a bit of a crapshoot here just because we kind of have to take whatever they give us. So here in the background, you're going to see me just trying to recruit guys that don't have any offers and just seeing what sticks, and we'll check up on it in the recap of the season just to see what players we got. Just to recap, we finished the year 14-16, almost the same as last year overall, 8-10 in conference play. We would exit the conference tournament in the first round. Here's our final 4. Interesting because I do believe North Carolina did play Villanova in the final 4 in 2009. Here's a look at our individual stats on the year. Garcia leading the way for us in scoring. We had 4 guys average about 5 rebounds, and Cottrell was able to average 5 assists. Also, we were able to shoot the ball pretty well from the field, but our shooting from 3 in the charity stripe really does leave a lot to be desired, especially for a small ball team. Hendry and Garcia were all conference freshman performers for us this year. Garcia was also able to be a first team all-conference performer, as well as the conference freshman of the year. Here's a look at our recruiting class for the year. Pretty good if I do say so myself. Crown jewel of the recruiting class is going to be this JUCO sophomore, so he has 2 years of eligibility. He's also a center. I'm hoping he's going to be that center that we didn't get in last year's recruiting class. Next up is going to be Dante Tran. We actually were able to land him out of Queens, New York. He's a guy that's got a lot of potential, so glad to see that. Right now it's looking like a pass-first point guard, also a good athlete and defender. Hopefully we can grow him into being a shooter. Next up is going to be Love, the hometown kid out of Brooklyn, New York. Looks to really fit the same profile as Tran, even though he's a better shooter, a little bit less potential, but essentially looking like a pass-first point guard with some athleticism and defense. And we're going to add another point guard here, this time the hometown kid, Cliff Garrity out of Brooklyn and New York. Looks like he'll just be a role player for us here at St. Francis. And to round out the recruiting class, the other recruit we were trying to get in season, Pearson Carson out of Patterson, New Jersey. Looks to be an athletic wing. Really have to develop him into a shooter, but he does look like he'll be an adequate slasher for us. And that's it. That's all she wrote for us on the season. Really disappointing that we essentially did the same as last year, but we're going to be bringing in a whole lot of good players, particularly at the guard spot, which is where we were lacking before. So I think we're going to improve a lot. Our small ball is going to be a whole lot more effective with a lot more talented guards on the roster. So I think we're going to be okay for next year. We're going to have to be if we want to keep this job, because it looks like we could get fired if we don't produce next season. But till next time, peace.